direct impact on the behavior of some people and has had impact on the spread of the virus, as an example of COVID-19. And in this case, putting the health of people, putting the health of the community at risk. So some people have, what happened in this case is that some people have blocked out the real threat of COVID-19 by downplaying the risk, paying attention only to favorable pieces of information. For example, we saw people saying, I'm still young, the virus can't hurt me, or it's a big issue. It's not a big issue, it's no worse than a flu. So all this has been spreading and affecting and having impact on people and impact on their adherence to the preventive measures. Another example is that occurred only last week in the Palestinian community is when we saw some people spreading false information about an upcoming financial aid for UNRWA. And you know that people in Lebanon, Palestinian refugees in Lebanon in specific, are in a big need for financial support because of the economic conditions that resulted from COVID-19 and the economic deterioration in the country. So the conditions of the Palestinian refugees in Lebanon are very difficult. So what happened after we saw a voice recording spread on WhatsApp widely, telling people that UNRWA will give money and will give aid and giving details. And this info, of course, is incorrect. Yes, we are doing our best to gather and collect funding to help the refugees, but so far we have not we have not got any donations, any new donations. So what we did is that we immediately clarified that this is not true, and the agency is still fundraising, and we will be there only when we will provide aid only when we are successful getting additional donations. So the issue did not stop here. The issue, after people have built high expectations, what our clarification did is that it was frustrating to refugees. Some of them were angry, and also another example was when someone spread the news that UNRWA anonymously, someone without mentioning their name, spread the news that UNRWA will provide aid and ask people to fill an application online. Immediately, what we did is that we clarified that this is not true. We said that this is not true, and warned that it might be used for fraud or might be used for hacking accounts and personal information of people. So again, this was also frustrating. This has aroused anger of the community, who, as I said, is in a big need for financial support given the difficult living conditions. So fake news can create confusion, can create confusion and misunderstanding, and misleading information can make people lose trust even in the real news itself. So trusting false stories could lead us to make decisions that may be harmful to our health, to our security, can also harm the feelings, causing frustration and anger, as in the case of the aid that I just explained. And the question here is, how can we spot fake news, and what can we do to combat them? And here we come to the term media literacy. Media literacy is the ability to critically engage with media, to distinguish facts from fake news, to decide which digital technologies and platforms to use and which to avoid. And in other words, it is the ability to access, to analyze, to evaluate media. And today, you as students, you need to become more efficient, I think, at filtering what you see, what you hear. So we need to develop what I can say a critical mindset. We have to ask ourselves, why has this story been written? Is it to persuade me of a certain viewpoint? We have to look into the publisher and author of the content. Do we need to ask, do they have an established reputation? Do they have credibility? Also, to see who else is reporting the story. We have to check other sources for the same story. We have to check the quality. We have to see if there are spelling errors. We have to check all the time we have to check the sources. So we need to develop an ear. People are especially likely to believe what they read or hear when the language used sounds flowery or academic. So we have also to examine the evidence. Are there facts, figures, numbers, quotes from experts? Are there surveys? Are they known as trustworthy sources? If not, do they cite these sources, and are those they cite their sources, and are those reputable? If you encounter fake news, I also want to mention, and misinformation while browsing your social media feeds, you can report it. I will stop here and will move